What is the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of the funniest show on television, 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, Season 7, Episode 8. I hope I can get through this review without laughing too much because I was cackling throughout the whole entire episode. Let's start with our first pair of clowns, Usman and Kim. So, Usman did not get his mother's blessing. His mom was like, you know what? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I am not going to go down this road with you again, Usman, with another geriatric American woman. The first time she was ride or die for her son. I support you, whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. When that marriage ended in complete shambles, when he was married to baby gal Lisa, the mom was like, never again. Never the hell again. We're going to do it my way the second time around, which is she wants Usman to marry a woman from their country, from their region, from their religion, who can speak their language. That's the bottom line. And she's not accepting anything other than that. So he already knows that his mom is not going to give the blessing. He knows exactly what his mother expects from him, but he doesn't even have the guts or the audacity to tell Kimberly that his mom refused to give the blessing because he says that he wanted to enter into this with positive energy. From where? Positive energy from where? Because the fact that he knew what he was bringing Kim into, he was bringing Kim into the slaughterhouse. He knew that his family was going to basically tear her to shreds. And he knew this. And he brought her into that type of an environment. He brought her into a hostile environment. Because he could have at least given her the heads up. And he could have been like, you know what? I talked to my mom. My mom was like, hell no. I'm not going to give my blessings. So let's go into this. Let's, give it the old college try. Let's try to convince her that, this is a good idea. At least give her a heads up so she can kind of be aware of what to expect. But she goes into this thinking that there's a scintilla of a chance of his family approving these shenanigans. First, before they go to the mama's house, first they go to the cow market. And this is the owner of the cow market says this is the first time that he had seen a white person at his establishment. Now, that was interesting, but I felt like we've been down this road before. Wasn't it Usman and Lisa, didn't he take her to a cow market for her to, for her to buy a cow for his mother? Or am I thinking of another couple? Because I felt like this was like rendezvous. Like I felt like this has happened before where we were at a cow market and a Nigerian man was convincing his white American wife to buy a cow for his mother. Wasn't that Usman and Lisa? So it's just too coincidental this is happening again. So it's not like it was Kim's idea to buy the cow. It's Usman's idea to convince these women to buy cows or bulls or whatever for his mother. So they pick the cow that they want. Kim pulls out her money and she's counting through her money. And then he takes the money from her and he says, let the man count it. And he gives the entire wad of cash to the establishment owner for him, I guess, to count out however much is owed to him. And I'm like, why did Usman do that? Could she not have counted the money herself, or could he not have helped her count the money herself? I didn't understand why he grabbed the money out of her hand and gave it to the business owner. I didn't understand that. Anyway, so it's the day of meeting Mama. They get to the house. Before they even walk in, Kim is super nervous. Okay, so Usman helps her put on her habib, I think it's called, or hijab, to cover her head. So she does that. And they go inside the home, and it's the mother and I think like 3 or 4 of his siblings. I think he's got like 3 brothers there and a sister. All the siblings are older than him. And so he tells Kim that these are the people that make the major decisions for our family. Blah, 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 blah. So she's sitting there and Usman is explaining that he says, I found this woman and she's really in love with me and we grew to love each other. And this is the woman that I want to marry, or something to that effect. And then the family, they're like, they don't understand why Usman keeps choosing these type of women. One of the brothers says, why do you keep bringing these type of women to us? They're not from our country. They don't speak our language. They can't have babies. Like, why do you keep doing this? Like, what the hell is really going on here? So the brother, his eldest brother, the one that we've seen quite a bit, he says that she's too old. She's too old for you. And Usman has the nerve. Y'all, Usman says, what do you mean? She's only 18 years older than me. That's like an entire age of an adult. Okay, when you were born, Usman, Kim was a full grown adult. When you were a newborn, she was a full grown adult. So he's like, she's only 18 years older than me. What do you mean she's too old for me? And so the brother's like, look, the brother says, if she's 18 years older than you, that means that she's too old. So then the mother says that she wants him to marry a Hausa woman from their region, from their country, someone who speaks their language, same religion, same everything. And yeah, of course, there's like a line of women, I'm assuming, that are waiting to be the one that Usman chooses. So the eldest brother says that the family cannot support this the second time around. It's like, okay, we were all for you. We were trying to help you live out your dream. We were believing in your love story, but you made a fool out of us, just like you made a fool out of yourself. So we're not going to be doing this again. So no, we do not support this at all, point blank and period. So at that time, there's a knock on the door. The bull has arrived. And so the younger brother, not younger than Usman, but the youngest of of the older brothers, he says, "Oh, I get it. So she bought a bull for us because she's trying to bribe us." And he tells the mother, he says, "Mommy, this woman is trying to bribe us with a bull." And the mother says, "This is the highest form of bribery." And so Kim is trying to interject and defend herself and say, excuse me, can I say something? Excuse me, can I say something?" And I thought to myself, but Kim, before you walked into the home, you even said that you hoped that when the bull arrived, it would, kind of like sweeten the pot for you. And, people would be convinced, the family would be convinced that you are a good catch after all. You even said it yourself, Kim. What do you mean? Excuse me. What are you talking about? So Kim denies it. She's like, no, this is not bribery. No, I'm not trying to bribe y'all. The family, the end of the day, at the end of the segment, they're like, no, we're not going to support this. We don't want none of this. The eldest sister says, take this white woman away from us. And I'm thinking to myself, Usman, you knew damn well what your family was going to do and how they were going to react. And you brought this woman that you so-called love into the lion's den for her to get slaughtered and embarrassed by your family. Usman does not love Kim. He never has. He never will. Usman is an opportunist. Okay, he is just trying. I don't know if he's trying to get money from her. I don't know if he's trying to get a green card from her. Usman does not give a damn about Kimberly. And it's so obvious. He can't even look. Do y'all remember how hard she had to try? How hard she had to try just to get this man to sleep with her, to be intimate with her? Do y'all remember how much work she put into it? How badly she begged him for this man to sleep? He does not care about her. He is not even attracted to her. Okay, not even attracted to her. I don't know if he's on this show to try to further his career. I don't know if he's trying to get a green card, get money. I don't know what game this man is playing, or maybe all of the above. But he don't care about Kim. And the fact that Kim doesn't see this, I'm like bewildered. You cannot be that blinded by love. This man sat there and allowed these people. They called you old. They said that you were there just to bribe them. His sister says, take this old white woman away from us. He don't care about her. He doesn't care about her. This is just all a game. He knew that his family was going to tear her apart. He knew it. He didn't care that her feelings were going to get hurt. To him, this is just all a big game. It's all comedy to him. It's just, he's just he's so like, I don't even know what the word is. He has like no feelings. He has like no heart for him to allow this woman to spend. I'm assuming, I don't know if maybe the if TLC is paying for her tickets back and forth to Nigeria. I don't know what's going on, but for her to go through all of this because she so called loves him and wants to be with him, and he knows that about that. He knows that about her, but he's still going to allow her to be the butt of the jokes. You know, he's going to just sit there and watch her be humiliated in front of the whole entire world. And to him, this is a big joke. Anyways, good luck, Kim. Good luck. Moving on. Andre and Libby. Y'all, I gotta say, I have an apology to make. I have an apology to make because last week I thought that this whole immigration thing was just for shows and stunts. I was like, what are they so worried about? Like, why are we even having this on the show? Because obviously they're going to pass with flying colors. It's no big deal. Well, it ended up being a very big deal. One thing that I want to say, on their way to the immigration interview, this was the funniest, most gentle side of Andre that I've ever seen because he was nervous. So he was laughing a lot, but his nervous Andre is like nice Andre. You know, he was really, really nice. You know, they were talking, they were giggling. It was really pleasant to see him not yelling and barking at her, not getting frustrated. But all of that ended when they got to the parking lot and he couldn't tie his tie properly. And he just completely erupted on her. Like he was just really pissed off that, you know, he couldn't tie his, I mean, you're a grown man. Like, why can't you tie your own tie? But for whatever reason, it was, you know, he blamed it on Libby and he was like yelling at her because of his tie. So after the interview, they get back in the car and evidently something didn't go right. Andre said that as soon as he got in the car, he said something, but it was so full of expletives. Even with the words on the screen, you have no idea what the hell he was talking about because every other word was a cuss word. Had no idea what the gist of it was. Nothing, because it was just so full of cuss words. But evidently they had gotten grilled and something happened where Libby gave the wrong answer or something. They asked her the year that they met, which you would have thought would have been, you know, pretty easy, but she had messed up. She didn't give the right answer and they told her that's not the right answer. And so she gave another answer and she kind of giggled about it. And he just completely went off on her, telling her, why did you laugh? This isn't a joke. This is serious. And she says, I wasn't laughing. It was like a nervous giggle. And so he's like, I don't understand how you could have forgotten the year that we met. That was like the easiest thing to remember, but you completely forgot. I don't know what the hell was going on. So he is absolutely convinced that her family reported something to immigration about him. Now, what I don't understand, even if she got the year wrong, or even if she had to, you know, answer it again, like she got it wrong the first time, but had to give another answer or whatever, like their whole entire relationship has been documented on a television show. If push comes to shove and they don't believe the documents that they present to them, like the marriage certificate, the child's birth certificate with Andre's name on it as the legal father of the child, rental agreements, I guess when they were renting from her dad, I'm pretty sure that the rental agreements has both of their names listed. I don't know if they bought this home that they're living in now, but if they did, the property deed will have both of them listed. So even if the documents that they show is not good enough, they can sit back and watch about 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons of 90 Day Fiance and see that this is a real relationship from beginning to end. Unless the problem is Andre's background in Moldova. Now, that might be a problem. If he was up to some shenanigans in Moldova and somebody reported that to immigration or immigration found out on their own that he was doing something that wasn't up to par, then I can understand. But he is convinced that her family has something to do with this, with immigration getting all up in their business like this and not automatically renewing his green card. Libby is still like, I don't know why you would think my family would do that, because if you got deported, they would end up losing me and their niece. I forget the little girl's name, Ella. They would end up losing both me and Ella. So why would they want to purposely get you deported? Because they know that I would leave with you. And he was like, your family doesn't care. Your family doesn't care about you or Ella. They don't care. He was so verbally abusive to her. And I can see Libby trying to like stand up to him. because she doesn't want to lay down and take it. She wants to show that she's not intimidated by him. I guess if she shows that she's intimidated, it might come off as him being extremely abusive. So she tries to stand up to him like, I'm not afraid of him. I'm going to talk right back to him. And so she's talking back to him and he's talking back to her. And it's just awful. And I understand him being frustrated with her, like if she got the answer wrong about the year that they met. I understand that, but it's okay. Let's just kind of think this through. She didn't do it on purpose, right? Can we all agree with that? Amen. She didn't do it on purpose. So, okay, she messed up. I think eventually she got it right. If it's a problem and they need more proof that they're actually married, like their marriage is valid, that their relationship is real, they have all the proof in the world to give that. So let's not worry about that too much. But like on the other side, if it's because of his background in Moldova, because he was part of the, I think, law enforcement in Moldova, and there was some type of a case against the police department that they were doing things that was not quite, ethical. So his department got questioned and he had to testify in court, but I guess the way he makes it sound like he had to testify against the department to prove that he wasn't a part of their shenanigans. I think that's how the story goes. I'm not sure. So, but if he did something in Moldova and the family reported that, well, it is kind of crappy that her family would do that to him. But then it's not Libby's fault. Okay, so don't go yelling at Libby. It's not Libby's fault if this ends up not going their way because of his background in Moldova. And so this is turning out to be like a real problem. And I thought it was just, for stunts and shows. But this is like a real problem. But watch, next week is probably going to be, oh, we got a letter in the mail. Everything is fine. We can stay here. I'm going to save them for last because I don't care. Let's move on to... I don't even know where to go next. It's just a lot. Let's go. Okay, let's do Jovi and Yara. So it's time for Jovi to report back to work. And the morning that he is supposed to leave, he has a conversation with Yara about, hey, please, 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 please wait for me to come back before you travel to Europe. And she finally agrees to wait for him. So that's good. Later on, she meets up with her mother-in-law. And the gist, by the way, that little girl is so cute. The gist of that whole meeting with the mother-in-law is that she told her mother-in-law that she really doesn't plan to stay in the U.S. She wants to go spend most of her time in Europe. And she was saying that as long as she makes 3 entries into the United States, I guess that makes her green card or her passport or her citizenship status good. It keeps her American citizenship on the up and up. But she really wants to live in Europe. And of course, the mother-in-law was really brokenhearted about that. And Yara tells her mother-in-law, well, you got to understand that, the baby has 2 grandmothers and my mother would like to spend time with her as well. And, you're kind of being selfish by, wanting us to not go to Europe and you want us to stay here. You want to keep the baby to yourself, so on and so forth. And so the mother-in-law was like, okay, yeah, I never really thought of it like that, but okay, I see what you mean. But you can tell that the mother-in-law was deeply affected with the thought of her taking the baby to Europe to possibly stay there for extended periods of time so that she can have as much time with Yara's side of the family as she had with Jovi's side of the family. So that is obviously something that they have to talk about. Now, one thing I can say about Yara, her and Andre kind of have the same way of talking. Now, Yara is nowhere near as bad as Andre, and I'm not saying that at all, but she just has this way of talking that kind of makes people feel stupid. For example, when the mother-in-law said, they were talking about her green card and Yara said, yeah, I'm going to be getting it within the next week. And the mother-in-law was like, oh my God, I didn't think it was going to come that quickly. And then Yara responds with, oh, what do you think? It's going to take a year? I mean, and she does that a lot. She's got those little smart little comebacks. She does that a lot. And I can only imagine if someone like Yara got with someone like Andre. And I mean, it'd be like World War 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 in their household constantly. Because Yara is a little bit rough around the edges sometimes when she talks, she's got a very condescending way of talking, and we know how Andre is. So that is Jovi and Yara. Let's move on now to Bilal and Shida. So they go to the doctor's appointment to get the rest of their results because Shida had done some blood work in the previous episode, and it was to check her egg reserve to make sure that she had plenty of eggs left. So, of course, when the doctor calls you after your results come in and they want to meet with you in person, a lot of the times it's not good. So she's extremely nervous, and they get to the doctor's office and she's saying a little prayer, hoping that the news is going to be positive. They go into the doctor to talk to him, and the doctor says that her egg reserve is low. It is extremely low. He says that she has a 5% chance each month to get pregnant, and with each month that goes by, her chances are reduced. He tells them that they need to get started within the next 6 months. If they have any hope or any chance of having a baby, they need to make this happen within the next 6 months. After that, she might as well, pack it up. So, even with this negative news, this really bad news, instead of this putting the fire under Bilal's feet to be like, okay, I hear you because I thought we had more time than what we had, but if it's looking that bad, yeah, we're going to get started. But no, he wasn't like that at all. He was kind of like, well, I don't know if you really know what goes into raising a baby. This man does not want to have any more children. Shida, please read the writing on the wall. You picked the wrong guy. I understand that you wanted to get with him because he had a lot of this. It looked like he had a lot of this on his Instagram stories or his Instagram postings. Because let's not forget that it was Shida who approached Bilal on social media because she saw what he was displaying. He was displaying a man with cash. And so that's why she dipped into his DMs. So it came with a price. You wanted a man with a lot of money to take care of you and make your life easier, but it came with a very, very hard price, which is he doesn't want children. He does not want any more children. He's at that point in his life where he's about to be child free. Right now, he's like 50% child free, and he's about to be 100% child free when the last child, his youngest child, is going to be going off to college or whatever. That's in a few years. So he's looking forward to that. He is not and look at his house. Do you think this man wants a baby running around with sticky, dirty fingers, knocking stuff over, climbing on top of his white furniture, spilling stuff? Hell no. He might give you a baby, but you're going to have to move somewhere else. Y'all ain't staying there. Y'all are not going to stay in, Bilal Museum, the Museum of Bilal. Y'all are not going to be living there. No way. So I don't know what to tell you, Shida. I don't know what to tell you. So far, they're using prophylactics to prevent pregnancy. If he's serious about getting you pregnant and giving you the baby that you want, he should throw them all in the trash can. Y'all can go from there. We'll see if he's going to do that, if he's serious about that. Moving on to Michael and Angela. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Was it Michael and Angela that bought the cow for the mother? Anyways, moving on. Angela plans to leave Nigeria early. She's had about enough of Michael. He didn't come outside to talk to her, got her all messed up. So she's like, you know what? I'm leaving early. I'm done with this. I want to leave. I want to get back to the United States. I want to start filing for divorce, and I want to pull the visa. Angela says that Michael has changed a lot. He is a lot more cocky now. He pays more attention to his social media than he does to her. And so she's trying to, and I'm thinking, yes, girl, you are seeing the writing on the wall. You're seeing the red flags. You're paying attention that this is not it for you. This is just too much. Okay. You don't need this in your life. But then here comes good old Renee. So Renee convinces her to talk to Michael. Don't leave early. You're going to regret leaving and not speaking to him. Just give it one more chance. Go ahead and talk to him and see what he has to say. So she agrees to think about it. Well, she decided that she was going to go ahead and meet up with him. So they meet up, and in his confessional, Michael says that Angela flew all the way to Nigeria out of anger to prove a point. And he goes on further to say the only point that she's proving is that the marriage is over. So he thinks it's over as well. He's done with it too. So when they get to the little restaurant, the first thing she does is start yelling for a waitress. She's like, I need a waitress. I need a waitress. The waitress shows up. She orders 3 shots of vodka. She was already on 100. Okay. She was already on 100. There was no way that this conversation was going to go well. So the first thing she wants to see his phone. And he wasn't going to give that up. She wanted to look through his phone. She goes, I'm your wife. I have the right to look through your phone. He didn't want her to. He's talking about that says privacy, blah, blah, blah. He refused to give it up. So then she says something like, well, I'm not going to go through it now. I'm going to look through it later or something like that. No, he tells her, I don't know what prompted it, but he took his phone and he put it in her purse. But then he didn't want to give her purse back. So they go back and forth with the purse. And then I guess he took his phone back out and gave her the purse. And then she ended up leaving out of anger and frustration. She left. And I'm thinking to myself, so she didn't get to see the phone, right? Okay, yeah, it's over. It's over. You know what kind of woman that you have, and you know what kind of demands that she's making of you. If you have anything on your phone that you feel like you don't want her to see, and you don't want her to look at your phone, it's over. Angela's not going to put up with that. She's not going to put up with that at all. So Angela doesn't need this in her life. She doesn't need this kind of stress. She doesn't need these kind of problems. It's over. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. He's mad at her. She's mad at him. He's hiding stuff on his phone. He's back on social media. She doesn't want him on social media. I don't know what else to say. It's over. Let's move on to Sumit and Jenny. So they're leaving the resort. And Sumit is leaving the resort in a lot of pain because they try to do the Kama Sutra, and it was the Kama Sutra gone wrong episode. She did the cowgirl thing on him, and she landed on his stomach really, really hard and fast. And what did he say? It was a naval displacement, and it gave him the runs, and he had to go to the emergency room. She completely rearranged his bowels. It was just awful. Awful. But that's what you get, Sumit. You forced her. She didn't want to do it, but you forced her to go to the damn classes. Now they're on their way home, on their way to their house, and they're driving. And he says to her, I want to stop by and see my parents. And Jenny tries to convince him not to do that. And he's like, no, I need to go see my parents because I need to make sure that they haven't completely cut off all ties with me. And Jenny, do you understand this is your life? Do you not get that this is your life? This is how it's going to be for the rest of your life. As long as you stay married to him, he's always going to be seeking the approval of his parents. His mother is extremely hardcore. And because she's so like, she has a very, very dominant, strong personality. And it's easy for her to just be like, you're not my son. Don't come into my house anymore. You don't exist to me anymore. Because she's like that, he will always, always try to seek her approval because of how she is. He needs his mother's approval. He needs it badly. And this is going to be your life, Jenny. They go to the appliance store. It gets even better. They go to the appliance store and they talk about reducing clutter in their home. And so Sumit tells her, well, you can put things anywhere you want as long as it's clean. And so then Jenny says, I think I cleaned the house very nicely. And Sumit looks at her. He was like, really? You think that? You really think you cleaned the house good enough? Really? Okay. So this really offends Jenny, right? And so they talk about, how she is a very poor housewife. He tells her that her housewife skills are not up to par at all. And I'm thinking to myself, what else is he going to complain about? He's already complaining about, they need to spice things up in the bedroom. He's already bored with her with that. So he drags her to the Kama Sutra class. Then he's complaining about how she doesn't keep a clean house, not clean enough for him. Then he's talking about how he wants her to be a traditional Indian housewife where you cook and you clean and you cater to your husband, you do all of that. And Jenny's like, but this is not a traditional marriage, so why would you expect me to be a traditional housewife? But that's what he wants. He says she needs to live up to the traditional Indian housewife standards, and she needs to forget about this whole American standard. He said that in his confessional. He wants to get her up to par with her housekeeping skills in case his parents ever do come back. At least they'll be impressed with how well she keeps the house, even though they're still going to be pissed off that she's old as hell, can't give him any children. At least they'll be okay with how she keeps the house. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, Janie, this is too much stress. This is way too much stress for you. This is too much. This is too much. And he doesn't want to go to the United States, and he wants you to be a traditional Indian housewife. This is too much. If that's not your thing, Jenny, that's not your thing, and that's fine. But she keeps talking about how she wants him to forget about his parents. Don't worry about your parents. You know, they've disowned you. Just forget about them. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. And also, I'm thinking about the vacuum cleaner. She wanted to buy a vacuum cleaner to make the housekeeping or the housework easier. He's like, no, that's not how we do it here in India. No, you're going to get a broom and a dustpan and you're going to sweep the floors. And I'm thinking to myself, what difference does it make how the floor gets cleaned as long as the floor is clean? Like, why, what does it matter? You want her to do the housework. Okay, well, she's still going to do it, but she just wants to do it in a just more modernized way. And then she asked him, who cleans your mother's house? He said, well, mother has a maid. And then she tells him, well, then you need to get a maid. If you want this house to look like your mother's house, then get a maid. Someone who can spend all of their time cleaning. You know, they can sweep up every single particle of dust. They can wash every single spoon that lands in the sink. Get a maid. Moving on to Ed and Liz. Okay, I don't like talking about Ed and Liz because it's so chaotic. They finally get home. Before they got home, when they both left the party, because, you know, Liz came running out into the night. She was running away. She threw the ring in the bush, right? Threw the ring somewhere out there in the night. So they're both home now. Okay, they're both home, and they're still arguing. They argue about everything under the sun, man. They argued about whether or not Liz is actually gay. Ed is convinced that she's bisexual. She denies it. They argue about weight. She tells him, you're calling me fat. You think I'm fat. He says, no, I don't think you're fat. But then at the same time, he talks about how they can both stand to lose a couple of pounds. They talk about, they argued about, he says that he doesn't want to be with her. He wants a separation from her until he gets all the answers that he's seeking, because he's convinced that the woman that she was arguing with at the party, at their engagement party, the woman that had to be escorted out, he's convinced that that is like one of her former lovers. And so he wants confirmation of that. Ed says that she doesn't want him to have female friends. He gave a name of a female friend. He was like, you told me you don't want me to hang out with Susie Sunshine. And she was like, I don't even know who that is. So how could I have told you not to hang out with her? And I don't even know who that person is. So he's like, well, you don't want me to have female friends. And she said, well, you don't want me to have male friends. She says that he's not even attractive. She goes, you know, you're not even a catch yourself. You're not even attractive. And I'm just like, what? Y'all are together. What? Y'all are going to get married? And this is how y'all feel about each other? So then he asks about the ring, and she goes, I threw it in the bush. And then she kind of turned it around, you know, she's trying to deflect a little bit. She goes, you care more about that ring than you care about me. Girl, that ring was $13,000. Okay? That ring was $13,000 that she just threw out there somewhere in the street. Do you not understand that, Liz? You threw $13,000 out there in a bush somewhere. $13,000. She goes, you care more about that ring than you care about me. Hell yeah. Right now, I kind of do. I don't think you're worth $13,000 right now. So then, he calls her dumb. He says, I think you're dumb for throwing away the ring. He goes, I think you're dumb. And he goes, I want you out of my life. I mean, they say some really harsh things to each other. A very bad argument. And I'm thinking, these people are about to be engaged. And they have all of this toxicity just brewing between them. I couldn't believe it. Like, I could not believe how bad they were talking to each other. I mean, they were insulting each other's looks. And he's telling her, get out of my life. I don't want you in my life anymore. Get your stuff and get out of here. She's calling him unattractive. So if you think he's unattractive, why are you marrying him? Why would you marry someone that you think is unattractive, Liz? I'm confused. And if you're so convinced that she's gay or bi, then why are you marrying her? I am so confused about Ed and Liz. And I say that every single week because I don't know if this is just for the show, for the cameras, or if this is how they really are with one another. But that was an ugly, ugly, uncomfortable fight. Anyways, that is my review. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Let me make sure that I went through all of these crazy couples. I think I did. I think I'm done. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, please go ahead and subscribe. And I will most definitely talk to you later. Bye.